Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and we are here to break down part 2 of today's show's full interview with Miss Amber Heard. I don't even know. I'm done not trying to be nice. I can't handle it. This woman is insane. This woman is obsessed. I am legitimately scared for anybody around her. I just don't understand how a woman who wants to move on, who doesn't claim to be a victim, can declare all the things she's doing in these interviews. Now, to be fair, this is today stretching it out over multiple days. I wish they would have just given us one, but it gave us 3 full days of programming to break down with you. So happy to have you all, and I'm so glad because today we got a special guest as well as 2 of my favorites. Guys, we got Linda back, our own behavior expert. Welcome back, Linda. Linda is now getting a tattoo thanks to you guys. You guys raised it. Thanks to Rando Forever. How you feeling today, Linda?
Good. How about you guys?
I'm feeling great. Are you feeling still good about this tattoo you got to get?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people tweeting like, oh, we love the show. I can't wait to see Linda get the Rando Forever tattoo. You guys can pick up your own shirt, or some have offered to match and get the tattoo with you. Linda, what are your thoughts?
Hey, we're all randos together.
Randos forever. We also got It's Kim. Welcome, It's Kim. How are you doing, Kim? Are you there?
I'm doing good. I'm sorting out audio issues.
Yay,
I apologize. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Kim, to the show. So happy to have you back. And we offer a new guest today. I'm so happy to have. You may have read Jamie's work over on EV Magazine. She's done some fantastic pieces about this trial, about Johnny, about Amber. The only one setting back survivors is Amber Heard, and the media that propped her up was the one that really everyone kept sending to me. If you guys haven't read them, I will make sure you guys have this link. In fact, here I'm giving it to you, mods. Spread the word on Jamie's amazing work. Jamie Marshall, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello. Glad to be here.
So you've been watching Miss Heard's interviews. I imagine you're having as much fun as we are.
Yes, if you can call it that. I don't know if it's fun or more like Disturbia. I don't know what to call it, but it's like a train wreck you can't look away from, basically.
It's really frustrating. And there was a point where I was trying to be nice, like I felt bad, like, oh, whatever. She's clearly got issues, right? But at this point, she knows what she's doing, and she knows she's got these issues, and she doesn't care, and she will run down anybody in her path, it feels like. And so I'm done. The gloves are off. She's invited this, in my opinion, by continuing to do these interviews and lying in these interviews. And so we are going to keep breaking these down, which we wouldn't have done, Amber, if you hadn't felt the need to keep stretching this out. You keep saying you want to move on. I hope this is it. I hope you're getting enough feedback from us and everywhere else that these interviews are not helping you. Just get offline. Go spend time with the kid that you claim to want to spend time with. The one that looks kind of like a prop. Well, why don't you prove us wrong and just get offline for a period of time and spend time with that kid? The kid needs you. Some people are saying you should, but I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Go be with your kid. Go be with the family. Get offline for a little while. You take the L. It's over. No one's buying your story, and they're especially, who's especially not buying it, guys? Savannah Guthrie. Like I do have to say, Savannah Guthrie really started pushing back on this. Now I wish she would have just really unleashed. She didn't, but I have to give Savannah credit. I want to go around the bend too. Leandell, let's go with you first. Did you sense Savannah really sort of in part 2 of this interview finally taking some of the gloves off and pushing Amber back more than Amber was prepared for?
Yes. So she still does it very professionally and not as harsh as we would like to, but she does still keep it all together, but she does continue poking that bear.
Yeah. Kim, did you get that feeling?
Oh, yeah. I think she's trying to call out the garbage, and I'm very thankful for it, especially grilling her on specifics about the lies that she did tell. This is good. And I think this is something that the general public needs to see as well, because I feel like if you watch the trial, it's incredibly obvious that this happened. But if you haven't watched it, this may be the first time a lot of people hear her getting called out on this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was nice. Jamie, what about you? Did you sense Savannah's turn through these parts?
I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much she was pushing back. I even wrote, in a whole article about how the mainstream media has just been coddling her. So, just to see any pushback at all is so reassuring. And I mean, she was pretty fierce. I mean, she was like, listen, like, you're saying that you didn't ever abuse him, you never hit him, but we have you in 4K right here on the audio tapes saying exactly that. And I was like, oh, okay, Savannah, come with the receipts.
She did, right? She really was dropping the receipts. So we're going to go through it. Before we go through it, I do have to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. They were the first one that stepped up, guys, and I know a lot of you guys stepped up to support them. But I'm so grateful to have Coffee Brand Coffee back, and it's not just Coffee Brand Coffee now. It's Coffee Brand Coffee and Tea Brand Tea, as well as Cocoa Brand Cocoa. It's all still called Coffee Brand Coffee, but they now have teas and coffees. I'm dying to get the marshmallow hot cocoa, as well as the velvety hot cocoa, caramel hot cocoa. Oh my gosh, yes, please. And if you're a tea drinker, which we know Johnny is, he drinks lots and lots of tea, guys. English breakfast. We got chamomile lavender, green tea, organic, tea infusers, a lot of stuff you can get here, as well as the coffee that so many of you guys bought and loved. And the reason I'm promoting Coffee Brand Coffee so much is not only they want to support, but they've been, the folks behind Coffee Brand Coffee don't want any gimmicky crap. They don't want to have a coffee brand that you're worried about is out there supporting some political nonsense that you don't agree with. They're like, let's keep our brands as brands, and they're not out there to be political signals for other things. We just focus on making you the best damn coffee, tea, and cocoa possible. And Jeremy over at Behind Coffee Brand Coffee has really supported creators like myself through this bump with you guys, and throughout my whole career coming back to YouTube. He stands up for creators like none other, and it's not about his politics on his other channels, etc. It's just about he really wants to make sure people get the word out on whatever they want to get the word out, and he wants to support local creators, and that's what Coffee Brand Coffee is doing. They're supporting creators like Popcorn Planet, and I'm so glad to have him here. Mods, if you can, I think I have the link. It's Popcorned. I'm going to send it to you. Sorry if I haven't already. Use code Popcorned at checkout for a discount if you try. I think it's 5% per bag, or it's 10% on multiple orders, but use code Popcorned in your order. Now, what is Coffee Brand Coffee? Real quick, I want to thank our sponsors because they believe in us. This is coffee made straight from, it's hand roasted to order, is what I was trying to make sure I said properly. They wait until they receive your order before they fire up the roaster. So it really does taste different. It's going to taste better. It's going to taste fresher, because coffee apparently loses its flavor 7 to 10 days after roasting. And a lot of these companies that make to order and send to you are doing it months in advance. You're getting the freshest coffee possible. And they're not going to talk shit about our customers with the New York Times. They're just going to keep focusing on making coffee. How refreshing is that to know? And more importantly, now they have organic teas and cocos. 6 delicious coffee blends from areas all over the world. Brand new organic loose leaf teas, which you can see here, as well as 3 heavenly hot cocoa flavors with more added through time. As we saw, some of these look amazing. I'm a cocoa drinker the most. I am definitely getting myself some marshmallow hot cocoa. So you can get all these. They also have fantastic reviews, over 600 verified customer reviews already online, rating 5 out of 5. So let the actual customers and the creators who are supporting tell you directly that this is an amazing brand, to make sure you give a shot. And I know some of you guys did. So those of you who did, speak up in the comments and talk about how much you like this, because a lot of you were messaging me and saying, I really actually like that coffee. So thank you to Coffee Brand Coffee for stepping up today. We'll be mentioning them throughout. Make sure you use code Popcorned. You can go ahead and get right here. You can go to multiple brands. They got the shop for teas. You can filter teas, coffees, cocos. It's all available now. I'll get the links to the mods they'll be sending out throughout. I hope you'll check them out and support the brands that are stepping up to support the creators that aren't afraid to call out the Washington Post for being complete hypocrites. We can do that with brands like Coffee Brand Coffee that step up and allow us to say what we want to say, and they don't care really what we're worrying about it. They want to just give you fantastic coffee, tea, and cocoa. So thank you, Coffee Brand Coffee. Please check them out, and thank you guys so much for supporting. All right, now that I've gotten that out of the way, we can just say whatever the hell we want about this interview. So let's take off the gloves. Thanks to our sponsors. It gives us the power. So thank you guys for supporting them. And thanks for all your chats. I'm going to get through them in a little bit. But let's get through this interview. Let's break it down with our expert panel here as we watch Miss Heard come back. Now, where we begin on this interview in the Today Show is...
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Now, I'm already annoyed because Savannah is getting that incorrect. It was a text to a friend where he said he would he wants it, and I feel like I understand where he was coming from, especially now knowing how much she's lied and put out there about him. He was angry. Now, does this mean he was promising that was going to happen? No. He was he was venting to friends, etc. Should he have done that? Probably not, but he was emotional. I'm not mad at him for speaking privately to others, and I don't think he actually did do that. She still was in Aquaman. He didn't get her fired from Aquaman, so I don't know what this is referring to. Did that question bug anybody else about sort of in its inaccuracies?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Kim.
I mean, like invoking, not even just that comment, but just the general invoking these angry texts that he sent. You know, after she paraded around, you know, filed a TRO claiming to be abused, writing the op-ed. I mean, years and years and years of this stuff where, like, people underestimate the fact that false allegations are a form of psychological abuse. So I would be concerned if he wasn't angry and he wasn't sending these sort of texts. Like, that to me would damage his credibility, and that would just send a message to me like, okay, well, was he actually falsely accused? If this wasn't eating away at you inside, just filling you with rage, I mean, I can't imagine anything else. I would be saying way worse stuff if this had happened to me. So I mean, who cares what he wrote in text messages? It doesn't matter, in my opinion.
Especially since we never got to see Amber's text messages, right? But go ahead.
Exactly.
Right.
True.
I'm also reminded of something that Steph, one of our other hosts who was on vacation this week, said when we had talked about some of the text messages before. And it's this idea that she could say, you know, oh, I'd kill for a burger. That doesn't literally mean that she would kill for a burger. And just because you said you would do that in a text message does not mean that it happened. You know, it doesn't, you can't be like, oh, well, he said this, so he definitely did this. That doesn't equate. And I keep seeing that kind of thinking, and it's like, that doesn't really add up, guys. Once you start really looking at it, it bugs me.
Linda?
Right, and like you said,
go ahead.
Oh no, Jamie, go, and we'll go to Linda. Go ahead. Sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
So sorry. Just because, like you said, someone sends an angry text message that might be hyperbolic and in the heat of the moment, you know, like, if that's supposed to be evidence that he did all this stuff, but her literally admitting, okay, I started acts of physical violence, like, word for word, audio recording after audio recording, then, like, it's just such a double standard.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say it bothers me even more so her response, because we talked about this briefly earlier today, but you could see her manipulation slowly creep in with her responses where she leaves them very open-ended. The term that I would say is like an evasive phrase, where we've seen her do it. You're going to see her do it multiple times again, where she leaves it in a question where she doesn't fully answer. How could they, when she was talking about the jury? How could he, when they were talking about Johnny in the trial? How could it? Like, she just answers everything with a question, and it's purposely done. It's sometimes even not just deflecting. It's also a stalling tactic, which we previously discussed. But I just wanted to say, like, her answer to this, it's repetitive.
There's so much repetition. Well said, and let's listen for it, because we haven't even gotten into her portion yet. So get ready. We are going to stop a lot.
10 seconds in.
Sorry. So she just asked a question. Let's not lose this pause. This dramatic pause.
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Action. Look at that.
Big gulp.
Dramatic effect. All right. And action.
I know he promised it. I testified to this. I'm not a good victim, I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim. But when I testified, I asked the jury to just see me as human and hear his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
Such a weird answer, first of all. Like, she doesn't really answer. And as I've pointed out in our previous video, she literally said, I am not a victim. I am not ever want to be a victim. She screamed it at Camille. And I played the clip earlier. If you missed it, I can find it again. She literally screamed it at her, guys, that I am not a victim. I don't want to see myself. I don't want to call myself one. And now she just called herself a victim 3 different ways.
Oh.
Like, what, reactions? Jamie, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, very inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense. She really did, for some reason during court, that implications she was a victim really provoked her and showed her true colors. And she did literally like jump, like it's like the mask dropped and we saw the real Amber Heard. And I think it's just indicative of the fact that,
and that's because
what she really thinks of victims of domestic violence, which is that she has no respect for them. She's previously said, I mean, Andrea Burkhart has previously said this, but that she thinks of victims who actually stay in abusive relationships as doormats. So she can't stand the idea that people see her that way. So she has difficulty, she's trying to achieve 2 different things. She wants to be this strong feminist woman who stood up against her abuser, but that doesn't align with her narrative that she was abused and she was this defenseless victim. So, I mean, that's one of the things that damaged her credibility so much, is that she just can't keep her story straight.
No, I wanted to pull up just for effect.
You wanted to be seen, excuse me, as a noble victim of domestic violence.
I have never wanted to be seen as a victim. Nor have I ever called myself one.
Well, she just did, folks. Kim, what do you think of that?
Just add it to the list of inconsistencies and hypocrisy. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. Maybe she's had a change of heart. Maybe now she's decided she wants to call herself that. It's a different day. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, her pauses too, they're just so dramatic. I feel like she's just really trying to make this as...
Kim's sigh was the most genuine, real sigh too about this is how we have to all watch this. I caught it and I feel it, Kim, so much. You don't have to say anything else. I think we're all sick of this woman. And I'm so glad it's over, almost over. We got like one more Friday, I guess I got to report on. And then, God, I hope to God she's done. I don't want to keep watching her, guys.
I think it's just like, I've tried so hard through all of this coverage and from the beginning of all of this to be fair and to be open-minded and to not like buy into any side or dialogue or agenda. I've just been trying to look at the facts, and I just am sitting here, I think, at the end of this marathon, and it's just like, I don't have any more patience. And that does not happen very often because it's just so frustrating.
You have to wonder how Johnny Depp put up with her for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, just 10 minutes of listening to her talk is exhausting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's brutal. It is brutal. Well, take a deep breath, guys, because we're just getting started. Here we go. But yes, there she is. I'm not a victim. But I wasn't a good enough victim.
Hear his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
She answers so like, Linda, coming back to you now, because there's certain times where she needs to, when it's a dramatic question, where I notice she drops her cadence a bit and she speaks sadder. She has like a sad voice that she instigates. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, you just asked me a sad question, so I have to process the sadness. And I have to answer it a little sadder than usual. Well, and then she'll be so quick to turn again to confident, crazy, if any, or whatever. But Linda, what do you think of that? Obviously, I'm not crazy noticing that.
No, I think everybody picks on that. It's clearly her staging her performance to come, where she's preparing herself. Where if you were to see like probably a behind the scenes audition of her, you see her preparing herself to get into that staging where she, like, her technique possibly may be the deep sigh, calm yourself, closing her eyes gently, getting her into that emotional state for herself to then continue with it. I mean, but just before in the little clip about her saying victim, I know during the trial we had huge notes on that because, like the clip you showed, she puts that wall up right away. Yep. She gets very defensive. And like Jamie said, she nailed it. She just completely nailed it with what she said. She's struggling between, she doesn't understand or really comprehend how she wants to be perceived, since everything she seems to do lately hasn't been perceived well. But I think she was caught off guard with that, and it pretty much flopped on her. And like we've been saying, she's been continuing to dig a hole. But her response is just keep an eye on that, where she does the sighs, she does the eye flutters before answering. And when she does answer, it's usually something where it's almost like the stalling tactic, where it gives her a minute because I don't think she was really prepared.
Right. There's a lot of these. You're going to see more of that. You're going to see her unprepared multiple times in this part, which is probably the best part we got to watch. Here, let's continue.
Amber Heard reflecting on the ripple effects of her tumultuous trial with Johnny Depp.
Having been found liable, are you nervous, as we are here today, about what you can say now?
Of course.
Of course. But I'm still going to do it because I don't care.
For granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him for defamation?
I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take,
every move she makes, Johnny's watching her, guys.
That's exactly what I thought too.
I couldn't resist. It was very police-esque. I mean, it is a creepy song. She again. Now more victiming, right? She's like, oh, I'm so scared of him still. He could come after me for telling me I'm lying. Bitch, you lied. Yeah, you got caught lying. Like, yeah, you better be scared. You thought you could get away with it. And thank God someone finally was able to prove your lies. And House of Cards has fallen. And she's now still playing this confidence that, oh, I'm so scared he might still come after me. Why is she still talking? Jamie, why is she still talking?
This bullshit narrative that, like, she needs to be the perfect victim and we're just demanding so much of her and everyone. It's like, we're not even asking for mountains of evidence. We're asking for anything, any evidence at all. And she has not presented anything. So, like, she's genuinely gaslighting all of us. She's like, she's claiming that she presented all this stuff that she never presented, and she's claiming that we're demanding all this stuff that we've never demanded. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, and I'm really sick of it. Also, I just wanted to comment, like, it's weird to me that, in my opinion, she seems to genuinely be a worse actress in trying to display this, like, facade in real life. More so, it's worse than her acting in movies. And it really, to me, comes off as like a sociopath who's trying to mimic emotions from other people, but, like, they can't quite get it right. Like, they can't quite figure out the cadence to speak in or the appropriate facial expressions. So I think that's why she's so off-putting to people, is something is very off. And it's not even like miles off, but it's always off.
It's always miles off. I'll put it both in there. It really is. All right, let's continue to watch this train wreck.
We'll present another opportunity for this sort of silencing.
The silencing.
Which is what I guess a defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
Oh my God! Oh
no,
my
that is terrible.
God! The way she just I mean, she is a genius. Like a diabolical, sociopathic genius, the way her mind just connected those dots and said that. It's the silence, and that's what defamation is, to just silence. No, the defamation's about you lied. But she now managed to spin the reality of what this defamation lawsuit was to it's the whole court. Every defamation case is to silence the victim. Oh, it's
No.
I know we just quoted the police, but honestly, when this happened in real time and I watched this, immediately my brain just went to like that old Vine, and I'm dating myself, but just the why the F you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my gosh, stop lying! You're lying so much.
But it's not even lying now, right? There's the level of manipulation that she's doing, the gaslighting with such confidence. It is terrifying.
Reality. I don't even.
Yeah.
Oh, defamation is about making people. It's accountability that you can't just say crap about people and it not be true. There's nothing to do with silence.
Well, it was
sued someone for defamation, so she should know this better than anyone.
Well, plus, thank you for reminding us also, because remember, she told us it came from the Greeks. We learned all about what defamation was the other day from part 1, if you guys remember. It came from the Greeks. She's been educating us on defamation, so Amber knows more. But Linda also pointed out the irony of her putting out the Greek mythology of how that also what did you discover again, Linda, about this? It's also where narcissists came from, correct?
Yeah, I'm surprised she won't squeeze that in there.
My God, if we're going to talk about Greek mythology, this is the one I think she should study a little bit more. Narcissus. But my God, it came from Greece. I loved when she educated Savannah yesterday about how defamation came from. She's now suddenly a scholar of defamation. But I want to play this one more time because you can see the psychopathic wheel spinning as she figures out how to turn the loss of you lied on stand and are like, this is scary, to, oh, well, they silenced me.
Which is what I guess a defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
That's what a defamation law is meant to do, to take your voice. Oh.
She needs that final word. I'm telling you, she's all about that last punch with a little impact. It's almost like she's trolling us, where she knows every word, every response is going to turn into a meme or a soundbite, to the point where she's just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit in that one, and you save that, and you listen to that.
Whew. I can't even. That line has just shook me from a manipulation standpoint. She is calculated to the highest degree.
But Amber is still speaking just days after a jury stunned many and found the actress defamed Depp in an op-ed where she said she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. The piece, which never mentioned Depp by name, was published 2 years after the couple announced they had settled their divorce.
Life had seemingly moved on, and you decide to write an op-ed. Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
Notice how the sad voice is gone. Exactly, Linda. Tell us what just happened there. Sad voice is gone. And who are we watching now?
Oh, Amber. This is Amber. Just like we saw in the trial clip that you played just before with the word victim that triggered her. Oop, there goes that switch instantly. Now here, yes, she is not as, negative and aggressive that we did see in the previous one. She's, calm and collected in here, but that was a slip. That was a little slip. She did not like that.
No, it's a complete
to write
180.
An op-ed.
Because it's such a good question too, of like, why'd you do this? You were done. It was over. Move on with your life, etc.
Why did you do that?
Because the op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
But it alluded to him.
Yeah, push.
It was unmistakable.
Good on Savannah. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one, Amber. Unmistakable about Johnny.
You know what?
Not even that though, Andy. How many times did she admit on the stand that she wrote it about him?
Yes.
She
True.
said it.
True.
We're not even putting words in her mouth. She said it under oath. Am I nuts?
No, none of us are nuts. We're just we're taking crazy pills, watching the Savannah Guthrie is even humoring the psychopath.
It was unmistakable.
You know what the op-ed was about was
Stall.
me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry? Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
Yes.
I obviously knew it was important for me not to make it about him, or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers, teams of lawyers,
They were bad.
all the drafts of this.
When you wrote this op-ed, it was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs.
Matt Lauer, yeah. She knows a thing or two about it.
Yeah.
Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not.
What?
Wow.
She expects us to believe that?
Wow.
Like, what? What?
Of course not. It wasn't about him.
I mean, what the fuck was the point then? Why? I understand the culture. I needed to have this cultural conversation. So she just needed attention. What is she even trying to spin here to you guys' opinion? I'll go back to you, Jamie. What is this weird justification she's trying to get here, do you think?
Well, I mean, she can't say, yeah, I lied. I mean, he never abused me and I just made it all up. So I believe her that she's ride or die on this lie. She's going to take it to her grave. She's committed. She has to commit. Otherwise, she has to admit that she's a fraud and no one will forgive her, and that she took advantage of the Me Too movement, spit in the face of real, genuine victims. And I mean, I think she'll just say anything that she can find, that she can grasp that as an excuse. Yeah, and I do think she needed, her whole motive for this was she has this insatiable need for attention. I mean, Dr. Curry testified that, you know, she clinically meets the clinical diagnosis for histrionic personality disorder, which one of the major defining characteristics is this insatiable need for attention. So
I'm actually kind of surprised she didn't bring up Matt Lauer. Don't you think Amber's the type of person that might try to like bring that up to unhinge Savannah in a way? Like, you know, this is a really incredible movement, you know, was just you went through it, Savannah, with Matt, that monster Matt. She could have easily done something to try to like really unnerve, but it would have been risky, right? Because then you risk really turning the interviewer against you in a way. Thoughts?
Maybe they'll save that for the Dateline special.
That or they
We haven't
edited
seen
it out.
everything.
True. But Andy, do you notice how confident she was with that answer about? I wrote it down. With the cultural saying, like, oh, I wanted to be involved because that was the cultural discussion at the time. That is pretty much the same answer that she's used multiple times.
Yep.
In trial. So that was easy for her to look confident and say.
Yeah, and part of the repetition again, of the prepared repetition of the sound bites that she's been going through. Yes, very telling.
Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not. Of course not. It wasn't about him.
But the op-ed and the abuse alleged was at the heart of the 6-week trial.
Just pulls his arm back with the phone and throws it at my face. Hit me right in it felt like my eye.
Heard testified that
felt like her eye, like you didn't know where it.
The final straw came
like
after
how it felt like she thought she broke her nose. It just felt like it
felt like it. It just felt like, and I felt like saying that, but maybe I felt something different. Don't tell me how to feel.
Violent fight in May 2016. 6 days later, she filed for a restraining order.
Like this moment alone, what she did with the restraining order is like enough to discredit her for me. Like, there's no way, because we've talked to the experts here. I've had celebrities have talked to me. You do not need to exit that door. There are literally 3 exits from that courthouse to leave privately. Like that, and I wish someone who really could push back on her, be like, Amber, you know there are 3 exits to that courtroom where you didn't have to come out in front of the paparazzi. Like, if Savannah probably knew it, could have said it. Like, you know, you went out the public entrance with the paparazzi. They literally ask you when you leave, which exit would you like to go out? This has been confirmed, right? She also was taking pictures in the courthouse. And then somehow we're supposed to believe TMZ and the other paparazzis weren't alerted as she did this. It's still maddening to me.
Cameras capturing her as she left the courthouse. But Depp's lawyers convinced the jury Heard was lying about the abuse. Police who responded to the 2016 incident testified during the trial that they didn't see any injuries and that Heard declined to file charges.
This was a hoax, is according to his team. Why didn't I cooperate with the police?
Because you were trying to make money. You were trying to shake him for the divorce agreement. What did she want, guys? Correct me if I'm right. She wanted the car.
She wanted nothing, but
Yeah.
she did want 50 grand a month. She did want the Range Rover. She
Range
also
Rover.
wanted 3 of the penthouses.
Yep. Paid for. But also nothing, Kim. She also wanted nothing.
I want nothing.
Why didn't she? Because she was shaking him down. She was extorting him. That's why Savannah, like, come on. You could have won, like, a journalistic medal if you had really just put her out to dry. Finally, someone would have the guts to do it.
As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known. I didn't want to cooperate with them because I didn't want this to be, I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court.
Boom!
And it came out.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself. You can't get a restraining order in private, which of course I didn't understand.
Yeah, well, all that's bullshit. She's spinning bullshit. You absolutely, Christopher Melcher has confirmed to me as well, she did not have to be there. She did not have to be there to file that restraining order. And so, again, more bullshit. And again, I wish Savannah had been better prepped. Anybody who interviews her needs to be better prepped. Well, Amber, that's just not true. You can file a restraining order privately. Like, push back and just see how she spins it. Because if you keep pushing back the lies, she's going to eventually get caught up and trip. She won't ever she won't ever admit to the lie, but you can still catch her slipping. But what do you, are you guys impressed, I guess, with Savannah starting to finally nip at this wall of evidence that she keeps trying to claim to? I'll go to you first, Kim. What do you think?
I desperately want to see her questioned by like someone like Melcher about the way all of this was handled. Because it's there's parts of this that have made me so angry, I'm like kind of like blacking out a bit because it's just my brain's just shutting down. Because it's just so ridiculous at points. It's sorry.
Jamie, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, she just has such a contrived personality. Everything is just oozes fakeness. Like the way she speaks, the way she carries herself. It's just so predictable, the way she's going to behave, the things that she's going to say, the way she's just like deny until you die. Yeah, I can't find anything else to say about it. I mean, it's just predictable, Amber.
Yeah, predictable. But I feel like she's starting to get unnerved by the direction of questions. Let's keep watching.
The night when the cops were called,
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off about when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be apparent. Did you tip off TMZ?
I was going to say, he certainly didn't get tipped off by me or anyone in my...
Did anyone tip off TMZ?
Why would they? No.
Why would they?
Why? Yeah, I mean, exactly. Can we all answer that question? Go ahead. Why would they? I'm going to ask each of you. Why would they? Linda, go ahead.
Well, first I was just calling that out because it's another evasive phrase where she's stalling and also playing her, that emotion. She's playing it out. And that scene drove me nuts when I watched it. One, with the TMZ guy, Mr. Tremaine, he gave us a play-by-play. And when they showed the video, it was exactly which way she turned her head, where she walked. Everything was to a T. I just couldn't. How could you even deny that at this point? But her continuing to answer questions with responses that are very open-ended, clearly in hesitation, and so she can get her train of thought going. It triggers me because I could catch it. I could see it. I'm sure you all see it. So for her to continue a lie that has been clearly proven, not just by what you said, Andy, and what you've heard about with the courthouse, but in general, it's just like, girl, the world's seen it.
let's not also forget like how nervous Elaine and the whole team was, and then TMZ was when they brought out their like head counsel for an emergency hearing during the trial. Because they were that desperate, like, no, we don't want this out. And I'm sure Amber's team contacted TMZ, like, this can't get out. This is going to be a mess. How dare you better, who is this guy? How on earth do you not have this buttoned up? Like, that must have been behind the scenes chaos. And then it came out. And this guy, whistleblower, to his credit, and I believe him. I totally believe him. Put it all out there. But then he didn't reveal the source. But he revealed enough to show that, they're clearly Amber's team. I don't know if it was Amber. And that's the other thing that so frustrates me. Amber could have thrown her whole team under the bus. Look, I have no idea who did it. Someone on my team, I guess, may have done it, in which case that sickens me. I don't know why they did it, but I know I didn't do it. Like, if she at least tried to play it like that, maybe she would have garnered some sympathy there. But this implication that no one on her team would have a reason to do this, again, Jamie, why would they do that? I mean, I can think of 100 reasons why Team Amber would alert TMZ about this whole event. No?
Right. No, yeah, exactly. And it just brings me back to when she was like, if I wanted to leak something, I could have done it,
Yep.
I would have known how, basically implying that she could have done it way better, made herself look way better. And then when she's questioning about it again, she says, what would I gain from leaking that? It's like, okay, you either knew how to leak it or you didn't. Like, what is the story? Obviously, you have a million incentives of leaking that. Boosting your own public image, creating this whole narrative that really did look so bad for Johnny when this first came out, and we didn't have all this mountain of evidence. I mean, for years we really didn't know. It was just, we were just in the dark, not knowing kind of what was going on. I mean, it really took years for this to gain traction, for people to see that there was actually all this evidence against her. So, I mean, like, what do you mean, what incentive did you have? Like, what incentive did you not have?
I also stand by, like, and I've said this from the beginning with the TMZ video, if she didn't leak it, would she not want to know who did?
Correct.
Right, because it's her property, and technically that means her property was sold to TMZ, and someone made money off of that.
You'd
So
be pissed.
who took her property, sold it, got the money?
Well,
like, I want to know.
It's also
I want to know.
There's so many problems for her fighting this story, because if this guy wasn't being truthful, TMZ would be on him like they would be suing him to kingdom come. But they can't, because I'm guessing he told the truth. And if they really tried to sue him, right? If they tried to sue him on it all, they'd have to then start revealing more stuff to prove, well, was he lying or not? And so they're not doing that. He's out. He's seemingly not being sued by TMZ. So clearly someone tipped off TMZ multiple times on Amber events through this whole process. So for her to continuously do it, and exactly to play defensive instead of playing angry as to why was my team doing this? I'm shocked. Like, who released my private video? All these things. Why is there no anger? Instead, it's laughing. I could do this way better if I wanted to. Destroy Johnny, ha ha ha. Like, implying that she knows how diabolical she is and how much better she is. Like, that doesn't help you, girl. That makes you look even more skeevy in my mind, because it tells me your mind is sneaky, right? We've talked about this. She's totally sneaky. And and the mask slips, right, Linda? The mask slips when she reveals herself to sort of reveal her sneakiness, by trying to play like, I'm not sneaky, but if I wanted to be sneaky, I'd be so fucking sneaky, but I'm not sneaky.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what, she has to jab it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been so easy for her, too, to be able to say, I had a lot of people around me during that time of my life, and those people aren't around me anymore. And there were a number of reasons for that. I can't say it's not possible that somebody that I'm no longer connected to could have done this, but I don't know, and left it like that.
Yeah.
She totally could have blamed somebody else, but no, I just don't understand it. There's so many ways she could have done this that would make more sense.
I don't get it. She says that she's no saint, right? That was the big thing. She's no saint. Yet she's continuing to keep this so-called image of being completely innocent in everything.
Well, she's horrible. She was toxic. She was part of the relationship. She admitted everything, but not specifically what any of that meant. Just sort of a carte blanche. Yeah, I was awful and part of a toxic. I was half of it. Yeah, I did terrible things, but none of the things that I'm being implied of. All things we haven't said yet.
No.
You ask no one to do that.
As I testified to before, it had nothing to do with me.
There are different incidents that you testified to, and the Depp legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following and saying that why are there no bruises?
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake. If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
That's just you, girl. You're the one who's now created that narrative. Like I can't think of a single time it's come up this badly, right? Where it's like a victim has spoken up and we're all like, well, I think she faked the bruises, or wait a second, she doesn't have bruises. Like traditionally, when victims come forward with stuff like that, like it's pretty believable, right? We don't think they're sociopaths creating a whole fake narrative to destroy their ex-husbands. It happens from time to time. Don't get me wrong, but what the hell is she talking about? Like this is some commonplace thing that the media is doing. Can you think of another instance where this has happened as publicly?
No.
No.
What is she talking about?
We've talked about it before where, Andy, you have said, like, anybody comes out in our honest heart, we trust and believe in the best where this person isn't lying. And it's like in the court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Correct. She doesn't believe that now. She's like, if anybody speaks forward, you believe. But the Johnny, except for Johnny's not trustworthy, right? Johnny can't be trusted. Johnny's a liar. But anybody else who comes forward, we should believe, if they're women, I guess, in Amber's mind.
You had promised to donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
Yes. Yes. 100 times yes.
I made a pledge, and...
Hold on. Bitch, you didn't make a pledge. You signed a divorce settlement that guaranteed it. That's what it was. That was an agreement that Johnny and you made in your divorce settlement, right? And then you had the money. He was trying to pay them off, and you stopped him from paying them off so he wouldn't get the tax benefit. Let's call what it really was. So this wasn't, I pledged to charity. This was you had to pay it because it was part of an agreement and it was set. And then you wouldn't let Johnny just pay it because you didn't want him to make money off of it. So then they gave it all to you, tax-free, whatever the nonsense, the hoops you jumped through, and you had it in your bank for 13 friggin' months. You had the full amount that was due to the sick kids and the ACU, and I'm kind of glad the ACU didn't get it because F them. But the sick kids, let's focus on them. You had the sick kids' money in your bank for 13 months. This was no pledge. You had to pay it. And Johnny was supposed to pay it. But no, you're like, I'll pay it. Okay, I'll pay it. And then you had the money for 13 months. And then we might have been like, whatever. Okay, she sucks. She didn't pay it. You went on TV, on press, and said you donated it all. You wanted nothing. Of course that was hitting your credibility. You were caught and you got so stuck that you made this pledge nonsense. And to see her still to this day try to justify this shit, and kudos to Savannah for not letting her do this. But I
made a pledge, and that pledge is made over time by its nature. And
when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you've pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because so much of I feel like so much.
Now this is complete stalling, right, Linda? Because she's caught. She's now nodded and agreed to Savannah and saying that yes, I didn't donate it. Like she did that whether she realized it or not. Savannah is not buying it. Savannah is now pushing her against the wall, and she's like, is this a stall to you? What do you think she's doing?
Yeah,
here?
She's clearly tripping on her words. I mean, it's natural for some people. I tend to stutter at times, but we've watched her. We've studied this woman over and over and then continue to. So her tells right there, look, you could see it in her eyes where you had it freeze for a second, where she lost it. Like, okay, I gotta think back. She's very quick though. Like we have said, she's calculated. She's very quick. So I do give her that. It's just her delivery sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if Savannah had been there to really shiv her, she could have gotten her here. She let her go and sort of is doing a puff piece with a few hard questions, is what Savannah's doing here. Which is, I wish she'd just gone full hard interview and just really exposed her. But
I don't know, because so much of I feel like so much of the trial was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can. And
That was the trial. It was a credibility contest.
And
that was it.
This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right,
Yes.
which is where it was intended to go.
I can't stand the Today editing there, because that was clearly a much more interesting back and forth. And my God, I would love to see the raw of that, because what we just saw there was clearly not the exchange in its entirety or how it all went down. And that's what I've been dying for, like someone to finally push her where she can't really answer it. And she couldn't answer it, and she didn't answer it. And then they cut away and sort of give her a lifeline by not completely exposing her. But at least we got to see Savannah pressing, which was nice. It could have been way better. But what are your thoughts on this sort of her drown? I really feels like she's drowning there, trying to justify the pledge thing still, which I think is she's never going to be able to live down. That was a complete insane distraction she put. Jamie, we'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on this exchange?
She's just digging deeper, digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's really making people who were maybe undecided or, didn't really care that much just hate her now. I mean, she's just so unlikable. She's just blatantly lying to your face. She tries to play these semantic games saying, oh, when I said donated, I clearly meant pledged, when she never said that before. It's very clearly a form of gaslighting to make you confused and make you question reality, make you question the meanings of definitions. We know you didn't donate the money. You didn't donate it. You said you donated it. You had the money for 13 months before Johnny ever sued you. It's just circular reasoning. She says, I couldn't donate it because Johnny sued me. But you had the money the entire time. Oh, well, I said I didn't mean that I was donating it. I said I pledged. Okay, but you never said that. It's just circular. And this is what I mean by a relationship with her would be, for 6 years, would be so exhausting, because this is what it was like for Johnny every single day, just running in circles, never being able to win an argument, because she always has to have the last word, even if it makes no sense.
Kim, thoughts?
I love her kind of going on about how her credibility was questioned and all that, and that was like it was like a contest. It said, but it's like from the other side. I listened to 3 weeks of garbage from her team trying to disqualify Johnny Depp as a person because he struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
That's what I witnessed. And then on Johnny's side, they discredited Amber based on what she said and the lies that she told. That's why it went the way that it did. She was her own undoing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's all that it is. And it is a question of credibility when you're in a trial, because if you are trying to convince a jury that what you're saying is true, your credibility is everything.
Yeah.
And dismissing that is ridiculous. And you digging deeper on something like the pledge situation just makes you look dumber. Because you very easily, if you had thought about it, could have been like, you know what? I made my first donation, the first part of my pledge. I had some personal things come up and I made a schedule. And I was going to stick to that schedule and give chunks as we went. And also there were chunks of them that were coming from Johnny. I didn't get it all in one lump sum. So, and you explain that part of it and then and then all this stuff happened. But no, it's just, I shouldn't have to earmark all of it. I shouldn't have had to do any of this. I shouldn't have had to do that for people to take me seriously. It's like, but you signed basically a contract with your divorce.
Yeah.
You signed a legal document that you were going to do this. You didn't do it. And then you lied about it to the world. And you're wondering why people don't find you credible?
Right.
Well said.
That's the facts. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ugh,
That's it.
It's beyond frustrating. Linda, any thoughts from you?
I think Kim just nailed it again. Right on point. The only thing I gotta say is, and I said this before, I don't like to even use the word hate, but I hate the word pledge. It's for cleaning your wood counters. That is it. That is it. From now on, that's the only time I ever want to see it or hear it.
Yeah, that's what I use it for too, and nothing else. Yeah, the whole thing's a mess. I don't know. I mean, there's no justification for me because the money wasn't hers. Like, the money was part of an agreement. Johnny paid it out. They paid it out on time. She had it. To me, that money wasn't to hold on in case I get divorced, like I'm sued or divorced or any. There was no excuse for that money to go anywhere aside from ACLU and the sick kids. Like, that's what the money was. And so for her to like say, well, I was going to spread it out. The sick kids can wait because I needed to make some money off of the money that was going to the sick kids. Like, it just shows what kind of person she is because it wasn't her money. It was never her money. And she decided to not let Johnny get any tax benefit, but she's like, I'm going to get the tax benefit off the sick kids. And it's like, why? What is this about tax? Just give the money to the kids. Like, who does that? Like, and so this whole like defense, as she's trying to justify it again, for me makes it even worse and worse because it's like you're just proving you have no empathy. You don't give a shit about others. You need to make money off your own charity givings. That wasn't even your money to begin with. It was Johnny's money. You didn't demand the money for you. You agreed this was going to go to the charities. Okay.
She wanted nothing.
Right. You wanted nothing.
Wanted nothing.
She wanted nothing. But that's bullshit, as Camille was rightfully pointing out throughout the trial. She absolutely wanted a lot. She wanted attention. She wanted, sympathy. She wanted to be a victim. She wanted Johnny to pay. There was a lot she wanted, and she's trying to deny it all now. It's sickening.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right, which is where it was intended to go.
Heard says
Yeah, and it should have gone. You had it. You had every opportunity to send it. And this whole idea that and it sickens me. I mean, I know you see it, Jamie. There are so many journalists now coming out of the woodwork defending her for the sake of Me Too and everything else, as you've called out. It's like, how can they when there's so many examples like this? Like, why do you think they're still defending her? Like, she is the worst person to defend. It's gonna blow up in their faces, already is. But what do you think is causing all these journalists out there? You can name names if you want. I won't go there. But what do you think is causing them to do this?
Oh, a single word: ideology. Just purely political ideology. Just these motives of it's not about Amber Heard. That's completely inconsequential to them. Amber Heard being as damaging as she has to this idea that we should just believe all women despite there being no evidence for a case, and to just throw out due process, throw out the presumption of innocence. This is so damaging to their cause of Me Too and believe all women, and this agenda that they have to promote things like the Dear Colleague letter and the changes to Title IX. Where this was rampant. This is what's happening. This isn't an isolated incident. It's really indicative of like a societal wide problem where we had people coming forward on college campuses making claims, and students who were accused were being denied their right to even have a hearing, to even see the evidence against them, to even challenge the evidence, to even face their accuser. So these are the types of policies that these people are trying to get put into place. And having someone like Amber Heard that is the embodiment in the face of how ugly these systems are and how destructive they are to innocent people, it's crumbling down their entire ideology, and that's really all they care about. It is their political ideology, this gender, this feminist, like third wave radical feminism that just says believe all women, and whoever is falsely accused is just collateral damage.
Well said. Yeah, it's frustrating. This is not the person that's going to help them. But you make a great point. It doesn't matter who. But I can't imagine at some point even these people, right, might start going, okay, I'm going to defend her a little quieter. Like it's just because Amber is not helping anybody's cause. She's burying her own grave.
She still plans to honor that pledge.
How do you see your future now?
I get to be a mom.
So I made a point of this. This is something important. Christopher told us she could have totally sold the rights to these photos to Today, and that's how she got paid. Because I've been looking for those moments of what footage or photos could she have sold to Today to justify a payment, and you're looking at them.
Like full time, you know, where I'm not having to juggle calls with lawyers.
One day you may want to tell your daughter about this or have to tell your daughter.
I love how all the photos of her daughter are really just photos of Amber. It's like not a single photo of like here. When I had my kid, I was barely in any of them. Like I never took photos of myself because I was so like just snapping away my kids. You know what I mean? And every photo she shares is like, look at me holding this baby. It's like, dude. And I guess I'm trying to protect the babies. No, you're not. I can see the baby in the photo. And they're a baby. It's the one time you can take pictures where they're going to grow so fast that who cares what they look like. They're all about her. I hate to make it, but she's now turned into that too. I don't believe the baby had beyond anything other than publicity. I just don't at this point. And it's so depressing to know that. And the way she's holding everything, I hate to go there, but man, the fact that again, she's using the baby to sort of create sympathy points really disturbs me.
This or have to tell your daughter about everything that you've gone through. What would you want to say?
I think no matter what, it will mean something. I did the right thing. I did everything I could to stand up for myself and the truth.
Heard and Depp's volatile relationship lasted just 4 years. Depp confirming his engagement to Me on Today in 2014.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
Yeah, very. She's a wonderful girl. She's sharp as a tack. You know, wonderful. You know, Southern belle and sweet as can be, and very good for me. You know.
On the first day of the trial, you issued a statement, and part of the statement said, I still have love for Johnny.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
After everything?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him.
What?
I loved him with all my heart. And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work. And I couldn't. I have no bad feelings or ill will towards him at all.
What?
Well, that's
I know that might be hard to understand, or it might be really easy to understand. If you've just never loved anyone, it should be easy.
Well, all right. Sorry, we all got to talk about that finale there, because what on earth is she saying there? How on earth? I mean, I guess I kind of understand, like, oh yeah, you always love somebody who's there, a part of your life, and even if it goes south, there's still some love there. But the way she's saying it, it's like, I love him still. Like, there's an obsession there. And I'm sorry, given everything that you've just been through, maybe I'm crazy. I need to hear from some more people. Maybe I need to hear another point of view. And ladies, I'm going to go to you first. But like this idea that after everything this man's allegedly put you through, and now years after, as you've apparently grown and gotten the strength to move on, everything you've talked about this man and what he's done to you, that's how you're going to speak about him, and you have no ill will? Even push away the love. You have no ill will? Bullshit! Like, what on earth? How could you not have ill will towards someone who abused you with wine bottles and everything else? Like, that makes no sense. I want to go around. Kim, what am I missing here? Is this a lady who's obsessed, or is there some weird love affair that people have with their abusers that is something that I don't know about?
I don't know. I mean, personally, in my situation, it wasn't. I was not in a relationship with my abuser, and I've always kind of summed up how I feel about them to be like the lyrics from the Kelly Clarkson song of saying, "I don't wish bad things, but I don't wish you well." I'm kind of impartial at this point, and you better believe if I heard that they were hurting somebody else, that I would stop at nothing to take them down. But I've had to have that separation for myself, for my own health. I have no desire to ever be in the same room with them again. I have no desire to ever say their name. I have no desire to go any deeper into it. They've taken enough from me. And that's where my version of forgiveness comes in. It doesn't mean that what they did is okay, but it means that I've chosen to live my life and not let them take anything else from me. Now, I don't know what it's like when it's a DV situation and there is a relationship there that at one point there was love. So I'm not going to pretend to understand that. And I would be interested to hear that from someone who's been through it. But I can't imagine her going through everything she's been through with Johnny and not having any negativity towards him at all. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. But I also can't speak to it.
We'll go around. What are your thoughts to Amber's comments there, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that it's impossible for this type of dynamic to happen where, you know, certainly I believe, and I have actually seen people have like severe cases of Stockholm syndrome that last for very long periods of time, even after the relationship is over, even after they've realized that it was abuse. But I mean, I personally think it's very rare for it to be to that extent, to say that you've been through these horrific things, that you were raped with broken bottles and had broken noses and a broken nose, broken ribs. I mean, just the most horrific, violent things you could imagine. And then to not only say, you know, you don't wish anything bad on them, because a lot of people do have that mentality, even if they've been through horrific things. They don't want to waste the energy and hope that bad things happen to them. They just want to move on. But she went further than that. She was like, I still have love for him, which is very much a red flag for me. And yeah, it's everything about it is a red flag. It's very clear that she's obsessed. And like Camille Vasquez pointed out in the trial, Johnny doesn't want to say her name. He calls her Miss Heard. He doesn't want to look her in the eye. And everything that she does just indicates that she was the aggressor in this relationship. She's the obsessive one, and he's the one that wants nothing to do with her.
Well said, Linda. What do you think about this? Is this an obsession level here? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the whole vibe of being obsessed with what she feels is love for him, which I personally feel it's more of her thought of him and the thought of the marriage and the thought of what her life was to be like if they never broke up. But I see the separation anxiety that we've talked about multiple times. It's just very bizarre to me. And like Jamie said, this dynamic could be possible. We don't know. Everybody's different. People handle things different. So I will, you know, give the dog a bone, they say, you know, that she just, her mindset might be like that, where she really does love him. But, you know, we don't feel it's for all the right intentions and all the right reasons. But her mindset is stuck on that. And she tends to have that where once she's set on something, that's it. And throughout this entire interview, I hear JD saying that whole comment he said about her being more about the fame rather than the love, her ambition. I believe, yeah, it was the word of the ambition. She's just so strong for that, for fame rather than true love. So you see with Johnny, he distanced himself. He separated himself verbally from her, physically, from eye contact, everything. Even if you haven't been in a situation like with DV, you had a previous boyfriend or girlfriend, partner, that it just didn't work out, and it didn't get to that level, but it was pretty bad. Say it was all verbal. Most people would do everything possible to distance themselves once they're out in the clear of that person. They don't want to even contact, change their number, block numbers. But But like we said, it's possible that she just is different to this, and that might be a totally different dynamic. But in a way, it worries me and troubles me that she does seem very obsessive and in a scary tone manner.
It's really scary. I'm putting a poll out there. The poll so far, I asked, like, can you still be in love with someone who's been your brutal abuser, or at least and have no negativity towards them? 90% say no. So there's still 10% of people who are saying, I guess you can. And I believe you can. Like, I remember the whole Rihanna Chris Brown thing, right? She always loved him. And I think there's certain situations like that where I get it. But I feel like where I'm comparing it to is like Amber seems to have moved on and acknowledged that it wasn't a healthy relationship, and she's better, and she knows now that it wasn't right. She's done the right thing. She's done all these steps that you'd think she then would be at the point where it's like, well, no, I'm out of it. I'm safe. No, I know that was all wrong. So it's weird for her to still play like, of course I love him, given all the terrible things that she's spelled out that allegedly happened, which I don't believe happened. We got so much more to break down. We are not done. In fact, we just got joined by, sorry if you were in there waiting long, but Daniel is here, our own black belt barrister from the UK. Look forward to his thoughts and so much more. But I am going to clip this sort of first because we got through it and we're going to get there. So if you're watching live, don't go anywhere. We're not done. If you missed it, though, you can always catch the replays, which I'll explain towards the end. Oh my God, what a show. If you missed it, I don't know where you were, but make sure you go get your coffee brand coffee. Make sure you use code POPCORNED because they're the best coffee around. No gimmicks, and they got teas, cocoa as well. And it just helps us when you support our sponsors because they support us. And not all the sponsors want to support us for being as real as we are. But Coffee Brand Coffee doesn't care about all that. They're not here to put out gimmicks or choose politics. They want to focus on coffee, and they want to focus on the good communities out there that are working hard like we are, and I appreciate them for stepping up. So please get fresh roasted coffee, direct roasted to order to you. Try out their coffee or tea, their starter pack, their cocoa. Give them a try and let me know what you think, and I appreciate them. Thanks to all my guests. We had an amazing lineup of so many amazing people. Jamie, Kim, Linda, Black Belt Barrister, and then we had Wancho, we had Paige. What an amazing show this was. Lewis came in as well. If you want to see all of that, hit the join button if you missed it, and you'll be able to see the members only replay over there on the channel. On my main channel page, there's a members only playlist. Go click that and you can always catch the replays. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow here on Popcorn Planet. Bye! Good night! Oh my God, that was a long show. Almost 6 hours. I'm insane.
Absolutely